Yeah, so many awkward moments. So many awkward moments. I laugh, but it's actually a very sad and extremely frustrating situation. I hope that I don't sound like a big a-hole in this video, but yeah, this is the territory I've had to navigate, and I'm really, really grateful that I've made the shifts that I made to get out of the friend zone. And if you're in the friend zone right now, just do those things that I said and you'll get out of the friend zone, and it's so much better. The friend zone. This concept does not just apply to romance, it also applies to business. And I have had struggles with being friend zoned throughout my entire life as an entrepreneur. And there's a lot of reasons why I've struggled with this, and I've learned a lot about it. I've had many, almost countless awkward conversations as a result of this challenge. But as I've grown, it's become less and less of an issue. And so I really want to share what I have discovered about being in the friend zone. So this video is especially for you if you have a fourth line in your human design, because the fourth line is very friendly and is here to influence their friends and family and network. So it's natural that they're going to have these kinds of challenges if they have a business. And it's also for you, though, if you tend to find that people really like you and that they love consuming whatever content you create or your free stuff, but they just don't go into buying. So helping you transition from that friend zone into the place where people are actually paying you for your services is what this video is about. So let's start with talking about why it happens, why it especially occurs for fourth lines, how it feels. I'd love to share some of my stories and also what you can do to get out of the friend zone. I'm going to share 8 tips, I think. Yeah, 8 tips. As well as at the very end, I'll share about an offering that I have that's designed for this, helping you really get paid for your work. And it's a longer supported offering of mine. So this is, I think, going to be a little bit of a longer video. So yeah, maybe grab a tea and let's get into this. Okay, so why does it happen that you end up in the friend zone? Well, chances are if you're finding this channel, you are a person who's on a journey of awakening, of consciousness, and you are an emissary of light. You're someone that others are looking to for guidance, for answers. You might be further along the path than most of the people around you. So that just inherently makes you attractive and sought after or desirable and useful to many people because you just objectively actually have some valuable insights and wisdom and awareness to offer. And, you know, depending on your industry, that will also, you know, reflect in this truth. As a fourth line, you're very friendly and you're designed to influence people and actually guide and help them. You have a special way of communicating that makes you really good at influencing people in your network, your friends, your family, your friends of friends, and your extended network. So that inherently means you are here to work with your friends. Like if you are a business owner, you're going to sell to your friends. You're going to have to navigate this blurry line of friendship and doing your work. Now, this is especially tricky if your work is something that is not traditionally valued in the marketplace. So, you know, let's say I have a friend who has a refrigerator store. It's going to be really obvious and natural for me to go to that friend and buy my refrigerator from the friend, but also to pay for it because I'm not expecting that I'm going to get a refrigerator for free. Same with, you know, going to a doctor. I'm not expecting to go to the doctor for free, even if the doctor is my friend. However, there's certain industries that somehow don't attract or command that same respect. And, working with energy, working with the unseen realms, working with any kind of healing modality, it can tend to be undervalued in the minds of many people, and especially people who aren't in those industries, and also people who don't have any kind of entrepreneurial background. They might not be used to the idea of like providing services and paying for certain things. So if you have, like, let's say a less traditional industry, then you're going to likely have to navigate this kind of interaction where people kind of want something from you without even realizing necessarily that what they're really asking for is your expertise. It is extremely frustrating to be put in the friend zone with people and not to be paid for your work. I have experienced this many times throughout my career. And, when I was younger, when I was a coach starting out, I think it was a little bit more obvious to me, and I was pretty good at navigating those kinds of things because I really had defined offerings and I was commanding a certain amount of respect. I think it was like almost a bravado of an unexamined bravado I had when I was younger. I definitely don't. I lost that in the process of my awakening. I wish I had that back. But as I dissolved that coaching business, and then I kind of went through this really extended period of transformation for many years, and then gradually I started to create an online business. That's when I really started to notice this problem coming up a lot. So prior to starting my YouTube channel, I was happily living in obscurity, and I would not have started my YouTube channel had I not channeled my book and received a direct message that I really needed to get out there and focus on marketing and selling my book and getting the word out about my work. So my purpose on the internet is to promote my work. My purpose is to share the light of my consciousness with as many people as possible, sell my books, sell my offerings for those that want to go deeper, and to really touch people as a teacher and as an influencer. I'm not here to make friends. It will happen that I meet people that I love. I meet people that I love all the time, but I don't have the capacity or desire to maintain more friendships than I already have. I already have friendships. Unless, someone's around in person, I do really love to connect in person with people who are, capable of a really reciprocal engagement with me. So I think that's an important thing, because sometimes people are online just to connect and they have capacity for more friendships, in which case they're available for friends. And in my case, my truth is that I don't feel very available for creating friendships online, and that's not really why I'm here. So when I started my YouTube channel, what was happening was, for about 2-3 years, until quite recently, actually, about May, June in 2023, I was getting a lot of interest. Like, people were liking me, they were, enjoying the videos. I was getting engagement, I was getting appreciation, but I wasn't getting enough sales. I wasn't getting a lot of people buying. And I think there were a lot of reasons why I wasn't getting a lot of people buying. But it was very disheartening because, literally, I was just pouring so much time and energy and money into creating these online resources. I was building my business, but not seeing the inflow. And there's only so long you can do that without starting to feel like disheartened and wanting to give up. So that's another reason I'm really passionate about this video today, is because I don't want you to give up. I want you to succeed in what you're doing. I want you to see the fruits of your creations, and I want you to be respected and valued as an emissary of light, as a light leader. So some of the ways this can play out, I've had so many ways, and it's all very innocent, people will say, oh my gosh, I would love to pick your brain about having a YouTube channel. And yeah, I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel. Can we have a chat? I'd love to know more about how you did it. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, if you only knew what you're even literally asking me here, the amount of hours I've put in, the amount of time I've contemplated, the amount of experimenting, just hundreds and hundreds of hours of creating videos, learning so much, watching videos. For me, knowing what I know about what it takes to know what I know, it's quite insulting that someone would even ask that. But, it's an innocent question, and I'm going to get into how to deal with it. But even here in the town where I am right now, I remember meeting a woman who was going through some struggles in her relationships, and she was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to meet you. I would love to go for a walk with you. And, just having to tell her, well, I don't really want to go for a walk. No, I don't really want to connect. No, I don't want to be friends. I'm not looking for another friend. And especially, I think for some people, they might not understand that, in her case, she was in so much pain emotionally around her relationship. And she was also in a place of wanting to start an online business and go into her area of genius. The areas that she was in development around were so much my expertise and what I do with my clients that there was no way I could just go for a walk with her and just enjoy my sensual moment of witnessing the ocean and the breeze. No, it would be work for me. I would feel compelled to talk to her about what she was going through, and I just didn't want to have that experience. So it didn't feel good for me. I get a ton of requests for people that want me to tell them travel information about their trip to the Dominican Republic or Mexico or Cuba. So learning how to handle those kinds of requests. And then just people that actually just want to be my friend and don't necessarily want to buy anything from me. So these are the kinds of things. I think also just having more of an online business, you have to learn how to navigate these situations. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about some tips for being valued, respected, and paid for your work and not just gaining more friends. At the bottom of it, it really boils down to this one thing that I learned from one of my very, very original business mentors, Callan Rush, who talked about, this is where I learned all about public speaking and selling from the stage, that in order for people to buy from you, they have to have two ingredients. One, you have to be human, so they have to feel like they can relate to you, that you're just like them, so they can see themselves in you and your story. Because if they don't see that, they'll think, oh, well, this isn't really what she did, may be good for her, but it's not really possible for me. So human and relatable, and then also expert. So there has to be some element of expertise or sense that you really have some answers or that you've walked the path before, and that you know what you're doing and you're speaking with a certain amount of command and credibility that then inspires people to want to trust you. So you need to have both those ingredients. So I think what can happen when you have a fourth line profile is that you can be so relatable that you end up not fully communicating the expertise part, and that people just feel just so friendly with you, so close to you, that they don't see the expertise, or you're not commanding that kind of credibility and respect that you might deserve. So then the first tip is create offerings. So create offerings. If you don't have offerings, it's so much more likely you're going to get put in the friend zone. So a real quick example, I started to get these requests from friends to help them with their YouTube channel, to, have a chat with me, to look at their channel with them, like how to start their YouTube channel. They wanted to pick my brain. And so it happened enough times that then I just went and I built a YouTube consultation session for, I think it's like it might be $444 or $495. And I just laid out like quite a lot of things that I'm going to deliver in that session and what I would need to do, because oftentimes when people ask something of you, they don't really know, they don't know what they don't know. So they don't know what it takes. Like for me to help you create a YouTube channel, I know far more about that than you know. So I know the steps that I would need to walk you through in order to do that properly. So I know it's more of a big ask than what they might think they're asking. They might not think they're asking very much. So I created a YouTube consultation page, and then I just sent it to the people that had asked me. And it was funny because a lot of people was just like nothing, quiet, which was fine. And I do find it interesting to watch people respond, like when I do create an offering and I then respond with, okay, oh yeah, if you want to do that, here's the link to a paid service when they had wanted something for free from me. How they respond to that actually indicates quite a lot for me about whether I would even want to be their friend. A lovely woman that I know, I've met her in person before in Mexico, reached out to me asking me some questions about YouTube, and I sent her that consultation page, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I'll probably reach out and do this with you at some point in the coming months. It was such a nice response. And it immediately had me feel like much closer to her, because at the core for me, this is about respect and respecting myself and respecting my expertise. So yeah, if you don't have solid offerings built, you're very likely to attract a lot more of this friend zone type behavior, because you haven't already created really clearly defined boundaries around what is your professional work and what you just do with friends. Okay, so the next tip is to activate or rely on the other line in your profile more. So, for me, I have the fourth line. I'm always going to be friendly. I'm always going to be warm. I can't really turn that off. But actually emphasizing the sixth line has helped me stand more in authority, because the sixth line is seen as an objective authority on things. And so if I can more stand from the vantage point of owning the wisdom that I have to share and owning myself as an objective authority and coming more from that energy, that helps me command more respect for my expertise and more of that expert part rather than the human relatable part. And I think this is true also if you have the 1 or the 2 in your profile. If you're a 2-4 or a 1-4 or a 4-1, then just go to the other part of your profile. So, I know my friend Tara, who is a 1-4. I mean, she is an incredible dancer, so I think she immediately commands a lot of authority and respect. And she's also a manifester, so I don't know that she would ever even have the friend zone problem. I think she does command a lot of respect naturally, and a lot of expertise because of her incredible level of expertise. But, you know, even the one, like, I think in the case of the one, like, she might even be able to go further with that in emphasizing how much she knows about the roots of every single dance. She's such an expert because she really dives deep into the core of where a dance comes from. And she knows a lot of history and she knows a lot of information. So anyway, she doesn't even have this problem. I don't know why I'm telling you about that, but that's just an example. As a one, like if you have a 1 in your profile, you can go deeper into the expertise aspect of it. And if you have the 2, like if you're a hermit, you know, look at what you're being called out for and what people are seeing your natural gifts as, and then emphasize that over the 4th line in order to, you know, emphasize your gifts and your expertise. Okay, so the 3rd tip is just to really trust your authority and your no, basically. So get really good at saying no. Even if people like want to be your friend, it doesn't mean you have to be friends with everybody. And I think this is really so important now that we're in this very strange age of the internet. I mean, I don't actually need or want very many friends. I spend a lot of time alone. I prefer to be quite private, even though I'm sharing so much online. I actually prefer to keep my little life to myself, and I don't want that many friends, even though I'm friendly, but I actually don't want to have very many friends. I want to keep my friend circle quite small, and I can really feel it when it doesn't feel good, you know, for people to ask me for things. Like, you know, sometimes people want to come and travel to visit me, and I usually don't really want that. I mean, it depends on the situation, you know, if I'm an actual friend of that person or not, but, or they might want to have a call. I often don't want to have a call. It just doesn't feel good. So I've just learned to really honor that about myself and just say no. Oftentimes I will have a big yes to meeting with someone if it happens to be in person. Like my friend Natalia, I met her through my YouTube channel because she just reached out. And she reached out in such a respectful way. And she said, hey, I just noticed that you live in Ottawa and I'm a human design analyst and I also live in Ottawa and I would love to see if you wanted to go for a coffee sometime. To me, in that invitation, there was no agenda to like get something from me. She just wanted to meet and exchange as colleagues. And we ended up doing that and we became such good friends right away. So it was a thing where I just felt it. So it's like you can just trust your authority, but also really give yourself that permission to say no. And again, I think that increases the respect that you command because people know that they're not just going to be able to like kind of get from you, that you are discerning about the use of your time and energy. Okay, my tip number 4 I already said, which is like release the guilt of saying no. But I think that this is really a big deal because I used to feel so bad about this for so long. I even feel a little bit bad telling you about this on this video. Because I want to be friendly and I want to have friendly interactions and I want to create a nice connection. I just don't always want to be friends where there's like, you know, a mutual reciprocity that's kind of expected. I don't have a capacity for it. So it's more like a capacity thing. And I think the word capacity and the word bandwidth has really helped me to navigate how to say no in a really respectful way. Okay, the 5th thing that really helped me get out of the friend zone and start having people actually just get out their credit card and pay me because they wanted to receive an energy exchange with me has been getting really clear about what my brand is and then focusing on being solid in my brand message. Having a solid brand and building a brand message that then people recognize you for was a game changer for me. Literally, it started creating consistent sales the moment I understood brand and how to implement a consistent brand message. So now that I understand what a brand is and having a brand message and just how to keep doing that consistently, I'm a believer. I'm a believer. And I think it implicitly creates the value, the sense of expertise, the sense of authority. It shifts the energy. It shifts the context of what you're delivering and why. So I think having a brand and just really focusing on building a brand from that energy of your expertise is a game changer. Okay, the sixth tip is just to shift your energy inside of yourself from friend to expert. So instead of wanting to be relatable, be more of an expert. The friendliness is always going to be there anyway, but just owning your expertise, shifting into the energy of like owning your gifts is really a big part of it. And that bleeds right into the next tip, which is the seventh tip, is having clear words to describe what you do and your gifts. So the more clear you are about your expertise and about what you do, and the more you can describe that and educate people about it, the better. So, when I clarified what my brand was, one of the things that I clarified was that I am working on a frequency basis. That's one of my core elements of my brand. And so you might not have noticed I did this, but within the last year, I have begun consistently educating people about the frequency aspect of my work, and that I'm a frequency communicator. And, I'm always educating people. I'm like, well, I work with people on a frequency basis. Like, okay, right, I'm going to channel a message for you. It's not just a message, it's a frequency communication. And so I'm reiterating one of my core gifts, and I've given it words, and I describe it in one of my core sessions, my energetic architecture clarity session. So I'm just like reiterating that message about my unique gifts and how they work over and over and over and over and over, and educating people about my gifts and how they work. And that consistent reinforcement and giving words to and then educating people about what my gifts are and how they work, it inherently shifts me out of the friend zone. And people start to really see and feel the value that's there for them in working with me. One final tip, I guess, that I'll share is a great response is also no response. That's my new approach now when people ask me for free travel advice, is I just don't respond, because I think it ends up creating a bad vibe where I'm telling people, I don't really have the capacity to be giving out advice. And so I wanted to finish off that story that I was sharing yesterday about that woman who wanted to go for a walk with me. I don't know that I adequately expressed how I handled that, because basically a lot of times people don't realize, like if you've traveled from A to B, then this whole journey. Now, if someone's standing at A and they're just in their moment, they don't know that there's this whole path to get to B. But because you've already gotten to B. So in this case, this woman just wanted to hang out with me, pick my brain, go for a walk. She could see that I was somewhere further along the path than her, and that was attractive to her. But she didn't recognize that there was actually quite a lot in that journey, and that I had really devoted a lot to getting to B. So, and I knew more about the journey than she did. So what I did was I educated her about the journey. So, I said, thank you so much for wanting to hang out. And I really totally appreciate that. I get where you're at. I can really feel you. So just acknowledging where she is. And also I've just devoted quite a lot to getting to here. And I wanted to tell you that there's quite a process that's ahead of you if you choose it. And this is how it was for me. And this is what I do with my clients, is get them from A to B. So if you would like to do that with me, then it's a paid process. And gave her, the opportunity to seek more information. In this particular case, I hadn't already developed my offerings so fully that I could just send her a link, Now, if that same thing happened today, I would be able to just send her a link. It would take her right to a page that spoke about being at point A and getting to point B, and it would be really well laid out. Like, the offering would be so well developed that it would really solve a lot of the problem. But in her case, she persisted in not understanding why I was not wanting to go for a walk with her, saying she just wants to hang out. She doesn't want my expertise. But I know what it's like to hang out with someone who's in pain in a place that you have a lot of expertise in. It's just natural to want to outpour and to share. So I just didn't want to put myself in that situation. Eventually what happened with that person was she was really upset. She was really upset that I was not giving her what she wanted. She actually reached out to me again, asking me for some more stuff related to the town we're in. And I didn't give it to her because I didn't feel like I wanted to. I didn't feel good about it, so I didn't do it. And she now is really rude when I see her. She doesn't greet me. And I just think that shows so much about that person, and that's not a person I would even ever want as a friend. My friendships are based on honesty, and I frickin' love it when my friends say no to me. I love it because I know they're being true to themselves, and that makes me feel safe to be me when I know that my friend is gonna really tell me their truth. And in contrast, like my friend Tara, we've had so many conversations because I love learning from her as a dance teacher. She was my dance teacher in Mexico. She values my expertise in my healing work and my help. I helped her with her YouTube channel. I helped her through guiding her with channeling for her. And so we've had numerous moments where we've exchanged. I paid to go on her trip to Cuba, and we've had to talk things through because, for example, one trip I went on to Cuba with her, I wasn't staying in the accommodation, so she had to come up with another price because I had arranged my own accommodation and food and all that. So we've figured it out because we are friends, and there's been moments where it kind of dips into me sharing my expertise, and sometimes I do that just naturally because I want to. I often do that with my friends because I just feel like I want to share. But it's always a conversation, it's always a choice, and it's always empowered, and we always respect each other's expertise, and we respect each other's no. And that just creates such a good feeling and a true connection. And I think that's really how it should be. At least that's how I want it to be. So that's tip 8, is just having honest conversations and respecting each other's no's. And that goes a long, long, long way to creating harmony in these kinds of awkward moments where you have to speak your truth and where maybe an assumption is made and then you need to educate and clear it up. So in conclusion, if you do feel like you're getting put in the friend zone and you don't want to be, and you would like to be more respected and valued in your work, then creating offerings is one of the first steps, but also building your brand, really getting clear on who you are and what your gifts are, and then starting to disseminate your message consistently so that then people can just come in that door that you've opened for them and come into your world. And that's what I do in my Freedom Business Architecture mastermind kind of mentorship program. I don't know what to call it, but it is a small group container, and the content is delivered to you through video, and then we meet to work on it together twice a month. So if you are interested in that, I will link the page below, but also book a conversation with me. I'll put a link to book a 30-minute chat. If you look at it and you think you might want to do it, just book a chat with me and I can explain it further, because there's only so much I can do on the page to really do it justice. And if we talk, then that will be a great way for us to see if there really is a fit. And if I really feel like I'm the person that can make a difference for you and help you to get these things sorted so that you can then just go do your thing. And that is a sweet, sweet moment, my friend, is to get to this place where you're just doing your thing and people are buying and you're being you and it's working. Like, truly, it's freaking amazing. And I really want to give that experience to more people, especially emissaries of light, because I really believe that you're meant to shine and contribute in the world right now. Okay, so I've definitely talked a lot today. I would love to hear from you in the comments and let me know what resonates and what your experience is. I hope that I don't sound like a mean girl, but this is my truth. So, I'm sending you so much love. Bye.